Hey guys, welcome to host team training for C3 Powerhouse. Whatever location you're at, whether you're the sunny coast, whether you're Melbourne, or wherever you are, this is the training for the host team. And this is a very, very important team. One of my favorite teams, if I'm allowed to say this, because you're part of the First Impressions ministry of our church. And you might have heard it being said before that you only get one chance to make a first impression. So we're banking on you as part of the host team to make a phenomenal first impression for our church. The reason that you're in the host team is obviously you're a people person. You're a sanguine type person. You're a warm person. You love people. There's something about you that radiates God's love and His encouragement. And I know that's why you've chosen or been asked to be on the host team. So firstly, on behalf of Pastor Danielle and I just say a really big thank you for being part of the team. We're just delighted that you're part of the team, whether you're on once a month, whether you're on once a fortnight, whether you're on every week, whatever it is, just thank you for joining the team. You're making a massive, big difference. And our heart really and the values of this team is that when people come to our church, they are going to feel the love of God through you. They're going to feel the warmth that God has for them, whether it's their first time or whether it's their 1,000th time. They're going to, just as they walk into church, I know people look forward to coming to church because this is the highlight of their week. It's the moment that they get the most encouragement that they get all week. For some of them, it's the only physical contact that they have with any other person happens on a Sunday during the week. So it's a really important team. I want people to feel that love and warmth. So it's really important, I think, as part of the host team to think, all right, remember back to your very first time when you came to church. Or make it maybe more recent. Maybe when was the first time you went to a party with a whole stack of people and you didn't know anybody, maybe one other person. Or you went to a social event, a wedding, and it's like, I don't know anyone. Is this going to be weird? Am I going to get caught with the weird cousins? What's going to happen in this particular moment? So think about what that feels like. And then when you met someone at an event like that who was just disarming and encouraging and just how they put you at ease, that's your role for people who are coming to our church. The most important people on any given Sunday who come to our church are those people that's their first or second time and they're new to church and they're new to God. And so their experience with you is going to be a reflection of their experience with God. So it's a really important role. So thank you for doing it. I like to think of three different groups of people who are going to be coming along on a Sunday that you're going to engage or interact with. The first of those we've just spoken about, they're the first-timers. It might be, and when I say first-timers, it might be their very first Sunday, or maybe it's their second or third, and they're still quite new and don't know many people. And you can kind of pick those people because they have a little bit of a deer in the headlight looks, like, what's going on here? I'm a little apprehensive. People often come to our church and their concept of church was from a funeral or a wedding. They're looking for the stained glass windows, the pew. They're looking for the 85-year-old pastor who speaks in monotone. That's kind of, and then they find good-looking people like us. Hey, who knew? It's pretty awesome. But they come along and you can see that there's this kind of vibe that they've going on and they're sussing things out. So if you're not sure if it's someone's first or second time, a great question to ask people is, so how long have you been coming along? Now that's good because if they've been coming for 4 years and if you say, is that your first day? It's today your first day. That's an awkward question. Hey, they go, no, I've been coming for 4 years. But if you go, hey, how long have you been coming along? And they'll go, oh, 4 years ago. Oh, well, I haven't met. My name's so-and-so. Welcome. Or if they'll go, well, actually, it's my first time. You go, oh, really? That's so awesome. So these first-time people, we call them VIPs. They might be looking for a new church, coming back to a church, or just really searching for God. Sometimes they'll be looking for a friend who invited them and you're their point of contact to wait and hold, look after them until they find that friend. So that's one group of people. Keep them firmly in your mind. Then there's another group of people coming to church and they're people who are they've been coming for a while but they're not connected yet. Or maybe they're discouraged. Maybe they've gone through some significant crisis during the week. They've lost a loved one, been in hospital, someone's sick. And so we have to be sensitive to people where they're at so that we're not just so party, that people who are coming in who are a little wounded or emotionally damaged or feeling disconnected, we've got to be sensitive to those people. So that's the second group. And then we've got our regular church members who are coming along, and you might know them, you might not know them. As our church gets bigger and bigger, you won't know everybody, but they're coming along. So that's three kind of groups that you're there to make them feel welcome, to feel loved, for warmth, for the big hug and the celebration. So the vibe that we're creating for them as they come. And this is the host team role is a key role at every major threshold. So whether it's coming from a street into a car park, whether it's coming from a car park into a foyer, whether it's coming from a foyer into a kids area or a creche area or into an auditorium or whatever the setup is, if they're coming up some stairs, every key transition point, so the street onto the car park is a transition point. At every one of those transition points, we need to have someone, at least one, preferably two, host team people there helping people make the transition. If it's tricky to find where I should go, then there needs to be people who are identifiable, and I'll get to that a bit later, but who are identifiable and people can go, oh, okay, I see where I should be walking and you're there. And the feeling we want to create is, welcome to the party. Like, welcome to the party. This is fun. This is not, while we're being sensitive to people who are doing it tough, but the overall feeling is it's a celebration. So awesome to see you. I'm glad you made it. You look fantastic. Just, short statements that we're making to people that are really engaging and bringing them in. So that's that feeling. Welcome to the party. Now, we want to have in every key area music playing. We want upbeat music. We want the temperature to be the right temperature. So if it's hot, you're walking into cool. If it's cold, you're walking into warm. We want there to be things that people can do if they get there early. So whether it's coffee or seating, or we're creating clusters. And the host team are all about creating an environment before the service particularly, and then after the service that's just welcoming, okay? So that's a key part of it. We're bringing them into the party. If you've got a melancholic streak, a detailed streak, use the detail to make sure everything's set up. But don't go harassing people for details and asking deep questions. This is really welcome. It's great to see you here. How can I help you? Okay, so that's the vibe that we're creating. It's a celebration, and we are so glad you're here. Now that means that there's certain days, and I know this as a pastor, there's certain days that I'd rather sleep in. If we're be honest, there's certain days where I've been fighting some battles. I'm not feeling 100%, and I'd like to go and, sit on the beach on that day. That we all have those days. I'd like to go and sit in a coffee shop on that day. And so what that means is there's a discipline, because I'm a servant. And I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for others. That means the Bible talked about the priests, as they would come and minister to God and the people, they would put on the priestly garments. And that meant they were stepping out of their humanity into a priestly role. And every time you begin to serve as a host, you need to realize what I'm doing right now is I'm putting on an anointing of love, of encouragement. Even though I might have been fighting some battles, I pray that off, and I get my upbeat, happy John on, and because my focus is not on me, it's on blessing others. What's remarkable is when you do that, you actually find something shifts inside of you, and it's like, that was really good, serving and helping other people. So that's the whole deal. You're creating this a positive, upbeat vibe for people to come into. I've just got 10 do's of a host team. So just 10 things that I want you to be thinking as part of the team. And every host team has a team leader for a service, and then a team coach across the whole lot of the team. So you'll be introduced to them, and you'll find a team to serve in. But here's 10 things to do. Okay, here we go. The first one is simply have appropriate physical connection with people. Now, I say appropriate because if it's your first time meeting someone, it's probably appropriate for a handshake. If it's a kid, it's probably appropriate to give them a high five. If it's someone you know really well and you're comfortable with, it's appropriate to give them a hug and be friendly and welcoming. So just work out what's appropriate. Even just a wave to people is just part of their process. They're coming up that journey and coming into church. So appropriate physical contact. Number 2, really important. Smile. Just smile. But your cheeks should be sore after a Sunday of serving on the host team. You've smiled. You've welcomed people. There's a twinkle in your eye. You are so glad to see them. So a smile is a big part of the outfit of the host team. Number 3, simply just be encouraging. Find something to say to be encouraging. And whether it's, hey, you're looking great today, someone you know, I love your new hairdo. If it's a new hairdo, don't make it up. If it's not, that could be awkward. If I love what you're wearing. Just be positive, but be specific and encouraging. Like I said earlier, for some people, that can be, that just begins that journey of getting discouragement washing off them, and they're beginning to connect with the presence of God. And you'll be amazed at how you being prayed up and carrying the sense of the presence of God, as you're warm, smiling, and encouraging, how that flows onto people, and they'll begin to feel better because they're sensing something of the presence of God that you carry as a host team member. That's number 3. Number 4, okay, this is really important. Make sure you pay attention to the kids. So families coming to church, whether they're 2, whether they're teenagers, look the kids in the eyes, give them a high five, address the kids, welcome them. If they're first-timers, tell them where the kids' programs are. Tell them that they're going to love it, they're going to have the best time. So really pay attention to kids. Kids are important, and they're going to have a God encounter as well. The next one is, okay, this is really important. Wear your team shirt. Okay, might not be your color, I know. That might be a little bit of the sacrifice of being a servant, is wearing your team shirt. But wear your team shirt because it makes you identifiable. So when people are coming onto the location where our church is meeting, if there's someone who's got a team shirt with a logo on it, really that shirt says, I'm here to help you. You can ask me questions. I know what I'm doing, in that sense. And even if you don't, just fake it, okay? But you know what's going on. And so that shirt identifies you as a person that people can ask questions of. If you're talking to them and pointing them in certain directions, they go, oh, okay, this is one of the team. I'm safe with this person. So wear your shirt. The next one is, okay, and this is the threshold when people are coming into the auditorium, is to help people find seats. So many people, again, remember, it feels a little unusual. Is there a right place to sit? Is there a wrong place to sit? I've never been to church before. Do I sit up the front? Do I sit up the back? Is there, I'm used to going to the movies. Did I book some seats? What's going on? So in that threshold of moving from outside the auditorium into the auditorium, or the sanctuary as some people call it, you move into that auditorium, then there needs to be a few hosts there really literally taking people to their seats, saying, come and sit over here. And this is where you can be really clever, be sneaky, try and introduce people in that moment and get them sitting beside people like them who they'll be able to relate to. So help people find their seat. There are roles that the host team does. It'll be different at every location, but you might be helping with the offering. You might be helping with communion. If you are helping with the offering, there is not a commission. Let's just be really clear about that. You just take the money, give all the money. That's how it works. You might be handing out flyers or brochures at particular points in the service. So thank you for being on right through the service. Another do of the host team is turn up early for the Dream Team Rally. So the Dream Team Rally starts quite a way before the service starts. It's different in each location, but turn up, pray, be inspired, and be part of the team. So you're in the loop of what's going on. So that's an important do. And then the last one, I think this is number 10, is after the service, you're still on. So connect with people, connect people to people, introduce people to pastors. If there was people who are new on their way in, and this is a really important part. Oh, sorry. Okay, that'll be number 10. But new people, look out for them and connect with them. So that's part of your role. Number 10, and it's really important, and I missed it here earlier, but it's show first timers around. So if you've got someone and it's their first Sunday, Try and have enough team on so that you can literally walk them in and go, here's the kids area, the toilets are over there, there's a creche here, the different age groups that are covered off, particularly for families. The service is going to start at a certain time. You can get a coffee over here. So really go out of your way to make that first time experience a great experience for first timers. So that's the 10 do's. Now, it wouldn't be a training session if I didn't give you some don'ts, okay? So let's just talk a few really practical don'ts. One of them is this: when you're a host, make sure you're facing people as they walk in. So even though you might engage in a short conversation with someone, don't turn your back around to everybody, but actually just make sure you keep facing where people are walking from. That way, even though you might have a conversation here, you can go, hey, welcome, while you're having a short conversation, so you're not missing people. People are getting welcomed as they come in. So that's number one, don't turn your back on people. Number two, big no-no, don't just talk to your friends. Don't get caught up. Your friends rock up. They're like, awesome, how's your week? And they want to, it's like, cool, I've got a 10-minute conversation with you because you're there. You have to sometimes train your friends and go, hey, it's great to see you. Had a great week. It's awesome. Hey, now I'm just welcoming new people. So keep moving. Great to see you. Just help in a nice, polite way. Help them realize you're on point right now. You've got a role to do. So don't get caught in talking to your friends. And sometimes that just physically means stepping away from the conversation. I like to, if I'm welcoming people, I like to be moving the whole time. Even as they walk up to me, I like to walk towards them and say hi, so that then I can walk back or I can move around and I'm not just stuck in one place, okay? So that means, all right, this is a really important part for a team as well. Just as people are coming in, your role, especially for new people, is not to find out their life story. We don't want people feeling like, I'm getting the drill, the 20 questions, what are they going to do? Set me up with someone? What's going on? People are nervous, remember. So it's just welcome. How can I help? You're going to love today. So glad to see you. It's all that vibe, rather than, so what do you do for work and how long have you lived on the coast? And leave the connecting till after the service. And because some people didn't like the service and they're out of there. But other people, now they know what it's like. I really like this place, and they're ready to connect. So just the focus on the way in is welcoming. So then, all right, really try, and this is part of it, just try to not get caught up in deep conversations with people. It's the same thing of don't get caught up with your friends, but don't get caught up in too many deep conversations with people. You are there to keep it light, to not go too deep, and to keep a flow for people towards those areas of gathering and community, and there'll be other peoples there who they can connect to. You're really part of the transition through the threshold. So again, guys, so grateful for you being on the host team. It is a super important team. You are the First Impressions team, and I know you're going to be such a blessing to people. My prayer, and for Danielle and I, as you're part of our dream team and as you're serving on this team, is as you pour out into people, God's going to pour back into your life. So God bless you, and thanks for all you're doing.